A phone rings next to an obituary clipping. A woman answers. Someone on the other end says her late husband owed $4,000 on a credit card. She needs to pay it. Today, is that legal? The short answer is probably not. But the long answer is a minefield of scams, loopholes, and one federal law most people don't even know exists. In the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly when a collector can contact you after a death, when you're actually on the hook, and the one sentence that can stop them cold. Here's why the call happened. Obituaries are public. They list names, family members, funeral details. To a legitimate debt collector, that's a lead. To a scammer, it's a dinner bell. They know you're grieving. They know you're distracted. They know you might pay just to make the problem go away. Grief is a vulnerability. And the industry knows it. Some of these callers are real companies trying to collect a real debt from the estate. Many of them are not. They're just reading obituaries and dialing. They throw out a number, a bank name, a vague threat. They hope something sticks, but here's where the law draws a sharp line. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA for short. It's a federal law that tells debt collectors what they can and cannot do. And after someone dies, those rules get very specific. So who can a collector legally talk to? Not everyone. The FDCPA creates a short list. The surviving spouse, the executor or personal representative of the estate, the deceased person's attorney. That's basically it. Calling a child, a sibling, a cousin, or a neighbor generally violates the FDCPA's restrictions on third-party contacts, unless it's a single contact to locate the executor. Just reading a name in an obituary does not give them permission to dial up the entire family tree. If you're not the spouse, the executor, or the lawyer, the collector should not be calling you at all to discuss the debt. Period. That's the contact fence. But let's say they get through. Let's say they reach the right person, the spouse or the executor. Do they have to pay? Here's where the confusion lives. The debt belongs to the estate, not to you. The estate is a separate legal entity. It owns what the deceased owned. It owes what the deceased owed. If the estate has money, it pays the valid debts. If the estate is broke, the debts usually die with it. The relative does not automatically inherit the debt, unless there are three big exceptions. 1, you co-sign the loan. Your name is on the dotted line. That means you agreed to pay and you still have to. 2, you live in a community property state. There are 9 of them: Arizona, California, Idaho, Louisiana, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas, Washington, Wisconsin. In those states, debts incurred during the marriage might belong to both spouses. That credit card bill could legally be your responsibility too. 3, you're the executor and you mess up. If you distribute assets to heirs before paying valid creditors, you might be personally on the hook for that amount. But outside those exceptions, you do not have to pay from your own pocket. The collector can file a claim against the estate. They can wait in line with everyone else. They cannot empty your checking account because you answered the phone. Knowing that changes the power balance. Now, how do you tell if the call is even real? Scammers wave red flags. They demand immediate payment. Right now, over the phone, while you're still looking for the funeral program. They threaten lawsuits, arrest, wage garnishment immediately. They refuse to put anything in writing. A legitimate debt collector must send you a written validation notice within 5 days of initial communication. It has to spell out the amount owed, the creditor's name, and your rights to dispute. If the person on the phone won't provide that, hang up. Another red flag, they ask for payment by gift card, wire transfer, or cryptocurrency. That's not a debt collector. That's a criminal. Real collectors take checks or bank transfers to the estate. They follow a process. Scammers follow your fear. So what do you actually say? You pick up the phone, you hear the demand, you say this: I request that you cease all communication with me regarding this alleged debt. That sentence triggers your rights under the FDCPA. The collector must stop contacting you. They can send one final letter confirming they're backing off. Then they have to go quiet. If they keep calling, they're violating federal law. You can also demand a debt validation letter. Say, please provide written verification of this debt, including the original creditor and the amount. Do not admit the debt is yours. Do not promise to pay. Just ask for the paperwork. Most scammers will vanish the moment you ask for proof. Legitimate collectors will send the letter. Then you can figure out if the estate actually owes the money. If the calls don't stop, you report them. The Federal Trade Commission, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and your state attorney general all take these complaints. Collectors can be fined, they can be sued, they can lose their license. The law gives you a hammer. Most people just don't know they're holding it. And to be clear, not every post-obituary call is illegal. Some collectors are doing their job correctly. They contact the executor, they file a claim, they wait. That's the system working as designed. But if the caller is screaming, lying, or demanding your debit card number during Shiva, they've left the design behind. They exploit grief to bypass your reasoning. Now you know the logic. Let's review the key protections. Debt collectors can only contact the spouse, the executor, or the attorney. Anyone else is usually off limits. You are not personally responsible for the debt unless you co-signed, live in a community property state, or botched the executor duties. Scammers demand immediate payment and refuse to put things in writing. Legitimate collectors must validate the debt within 5 days. Your magic sentence is, I request that you cease all communication with me regarding this alleged debt. If they violate that, you report them. That's the complete guide. The obituary clipping sits on the table. The phone is silent. You're not a lead anymore. You're the one in control.